Crosby.
Yins love
The old two-niner.
Yins love
John Porvo.
Yins love
Chino.
Yins love
The Gwyn.
Hello everybody, my name is Jim Shear and welcome to Yins Love the Gwens, the official low-budget homemade hockey web show of the 2016 Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. This is it. This is the Stanley Cup winning episode. 20 years from now, when you click on this video, you can reminisce about Stanley Cup Sunday. Unfortunately, I have to timestamp this episode with a reference to a current event. On the same day the Penguins won their fourth Stanley Cup, 50 people were shot and killed. They were executed at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. And that number could increase. So if you are watching this video 20 years from now, maybe things got worse. But I hope, even though I don't have great faith in our culture, that one day we can look back at this time and say, man, we were so stupid. We were driven by hate and fear. We couldn't sit down and have an educated dialogue. You could easily walk into a store, buy a pack of sunflower seeds, a handgun, and a semi-automatic rifle. And by the way, I don't have an agenda. I just want you, me, our kids, white people, black people, gay people, straight people, transgender people, Christians, Muslims, Flyers fans, Penguins fans, to be able to go to church, go to a movie, go to a nightclub, or go to a Stanley Cup victory parade without the fear and paranoia of being shot and killed. And I know life is not that simple, but it doesn't have to be so complicated either. And let's face it, if the leaders of our country were the front office of a professional sports franchise, they would have been fired years ago. If only we could have the Rooney family appoint members of Congress. So I understand it's going to be awkward to transition into hockey highlights. So right now I want to take a moment of silence for anyone who has been killed in a mass shooting. Let's go to the highlights. In the first period, Brian Dumoulin with a power play goal. And as you can see right here, he's like, should I, should not? Okay, I'll do it. Penguins lead 1-0. But you knew this game was going to be close because that's the kind of series it was. In the second period, Logan Couture ties it at 1. But later in the second, Sidney Crosby to Chris Letang, the Penguins are up by 1 again. And in basketball, you have to call the bank shot, but not in hockey. This game was tense throughout, but late in the third, Patrick Hornquist with the empty netter. Breathe, Pittsburgh. The Penguins beat the Sharks 3-1. And like we used to say back in the day, shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Sidney Crosby wins the Conn Smythe, and the Pittsburgh Penguins win the Stanley Cup. And for old time's sake, Pascal another Stanley Cup for the city of Pittsburgh. And I'm telling you, game 1, round 1 against the Rangers, I knew it was going to be our year, and it was. I did get nervous in the Tampa Bay series, but when we faced off against the Sharks, I knew we had them in the bag. And you may say, well, Jim, how can you be so confident? Isn't it obvious? Take a look.
Pittsburgh, city of champions, crusher of dreams. If you're a team competing for your first world title, a team from Pittsburgh you do not want to play. In 1909, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Detroit Tigers and crushed the dreams of that racist son of a bitch Ty Cobb, who never ever won a world title. In 1980, the Los Angeles Rams made it to their first Super Bowl. Their dreams were crushed by the Super Steelers, who won their fourth. In 1991, the Minnesota North Stars begged the gods of hockey to sip from Lord Stanley's chalice. The gods said, sure, you just have to go through this man, Le Magnifique. In Super Bowl 40, the Seattle Seahawks were playing in their first Super Bowl. Sorry, dreams crushed. 3 years later, Arizona played in their first Super Bowl. Dreams crushed. It's not like Pittsburgh hasn't defeated venerable sports franchises for world titles, because they have. But like a lion feasting on a gazelle, Pittsburgh dominates teams with no world titles. That's why the Sharks had no chance. Pittsburgh, we touch trophies when we're not supposed to. Win titles on the road just to rub it in. And crush dreams because we are the crusher of dreams.
It's what we do. It's what we do in the city of Pittsburgh. And now that we have the Stanley Cup, you guys know what happens next, right? Stanley Cup problems. Stanley Cup problem number 1, Conn Smythe debate. Don't lie, when the seconds were ticking down last night, you were wondering who was going to be named most outstanding player. Sidney Crosby, Phil Kessel, Matt Murray, Martin Jones, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Having a Conn Smythe debate is a good problem to have. Stanley Cup problem number 2, we didn't win at home. Imagine if we did. Pittsburgh would have gone nuts. Sidney Crosby would have been cheered like the champion he is. And for the team picture, instead of wearing this jersey, we would have been wearing these jerseys, the sweet Mario throwbacks. Now I have 2 championship pictures of the Penguins and their Vegas gold jerseys. Stanley Cup problem number 3, playoff beards. 20 years from now, when I'm admiring this beautiful photograph, I won't be able to recognize anyone because they've all got these big bushy beards. Why can't they just shave at center ice before they take the freaking team photo? But like I said, these are good problems to have. Problems like, hey man, I get to spend a day with the Stanley Cup. Where should I take it? Problems like, hey man, I got invited to Mario's pool party, but I'm not allowed to post any pictures online. And problems like, hey man, following this episode, I'm going to make a 32-ounce chocolate milkshake, but how do I fit it into my replica Stanley Cup? These are problems that I can live with. And that is going to do it for this episode of Yins Love the Gwens. I know I didn't do episodes all season long. I kind of jumped aboard the Stanley Cup Express, but many thanks for watching. If you guys need to get a hold of me, find me on social media at Jim Shear, or email me those victory pictures at yinslovethegwens@yahoo.com. Once again, congratulations to our 2016 Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. And Hannah, if you're watching, get well soon so you can take your birthday present, pour it in here, and take a sip from the Stanley Cup. Until next time, my name is Jim Shear, and I will see Yins later.